You know the moment when you're just doing the most mundane thing like eating cereal while wearing mismatched socks and suddenly you think, wait, is this it? Is this what adulthood feels like? Most people think your life only becomes meaningful when something big happens, like a promotion or a proposal or even a passport stamp. But maybe the secret isn't in chasing something bigger, it's in paying attention to what you already have. So here's the plan. We are going to figure out how to actually romanticize your life in a way that isn't just about buying fairy lights or drinking matcha. It's about a psychological shift that can rewire your brain, your mood, and even your motivation. So, I once cried during a walk because the sun hit the leaves just right. And I remember that I exist. Yes, real talk. So, you're listening to Socially Scientific Ish, the space where overthinking turns into insight and your everyday life becomes a psychology class you didn't ask for. I'm Ish, your unofficial chaos coach, serving you mildly chaotic but highly relatable social science to make your brain go, oh, that's why I'm like this. So, a few months ago, I had the most average day. I woke up late, my coffee was too bitter and cold. I didn't answer any emails. I wore the same hoodie from the night before. I literally stared at my ceiling for 45 minutes and I thought, wow, I'm wasting my life. But then I remembered something. I once read in a psych article that the brain doesn't actually care what's real, it cares what you focus on. So I changed nothing except how I looked at everything. My cold coffee, a moody aesthetic. My hoodie, a symbol of comfort. The ceiling, a canvas for my imagination. And that, my friend, was the start of me romanticizing my life without actually changing anything about my life. So, waiting for the main character moment, we've been sold the idea that life starts after a glow up or a turning point. But that's the plot of a Netflix show, not your existence. And psychologically, this is called future oriented bias, where we overestimate how happy we'll be once we hit a certain goal. But once we get there, it's like nothing really changed. The goalpost just moves ahead again. So instead of waiting for some event to make life feel good, research from one of the Yale happiness experts show that people who actively notice and savor small moments are consistently happier. So it's not about the event, it's about the attention. And no, you don't need a main character moment, you need main character awareness. Does that make sense? And ever scroll through someone's soft life Instagram reel and immediately felt like your existence is a PowerPoint presentation but with no real transitions? That's upward social comparison, which was a term coined by a very famous psychologist called Festinger. It's basically what happens when we compare ourselves to those we think are better off, which usually leads to jealousy, envy, self-doubt, or the desire to buy something from an influencer's Amazon storefront. The fix is to flip the script. Instead of comparing, admire and translate. Find your own authenticity from it. Ask, what's the feeling behind their soft life, their peace, their play? What actions did they take towards this life? Can you create your version of the story and your version of your own reality? Then is the aesthetic trap. Romanticization is not rebranding. There's this idea that romanticizing your life means curating it for aesthetics, for candles, for clean desks. But the real romanticization isn't about optics, it's about emotional depth. And the psychology term here, it's mindful savoring. It means fully experiencing and appreciating what's already happening in real time, not for content but for your own consciousness. So if you're eating instant noodles while sitting on the floor and you pause to feel warm broth and gratitude, that's romantic. That is real. Now when life becomes background noise, we don't realize how many moments we autopilot through. Wake up, phone check, scroll, maybe breakfast, maybe not. Then 4 hours of disappearing. This is habituation, a psychological phenomenon where we stop noticing things we experience repeatedly. And the solution is to disrupt your pattern. Walk a different route, sit on the other side of the bed, drink tea from a wine glass. Anything to make your brain say, whoa, what's this? This is different. That surprise, it activates your presence. Because the goal isn't productivity, it's perception. And struggling to feel enough without doing more, sometimes we struggle to romanticize life because we secretly believe we don't deserve to. Like joy has to be earned. This stems from internalized capitalism, the belief that our value is tied to our output. But here's the new belief. You are worthy of joy without any milestones or any checkpoints. You don't need to finish your to-do list. to have a cozy evening. You can rest without a reason. Practicing this changes your baseline happiness because romanticizing your life isn't the reward, it's the reset. Now, real things that actually work. Let's talk action. Narrate your day. Literally talk to yourself like you're a podcast host. She steps into the kitchen, unaware that her coffee will change her mood entirely. Boom, instant immersion. Make playlists for your moods. Light a candle before answering emails. Rituals romanticize routine. Eat with your hands once in a while. Engage your senses. You're not weird. You are present in the moment. Look for contrast. Rain on your window while you're warm inside. That's emotional gold. Do something badly on purpose. Dance offbeat. Sing the wrong lyrics. That's joy without judgment. And if nothing else works, romanticize the rebellion. The nap you shouldn't take. The 3-hour walk to nowhere, no destination. The messiness. That's life too. So the final insight, you're already in the movie. The movie that doesn't start when life gets perfect. It starts when you decide it matters. So you don't need a new city, a new job, or a new wardrobe. You need to look at your own existing life with curiosity, compassion, and also a little bit of chaos. Romanticizing your life isn't denial, it's depth. It's saying even in this moment, the small, weird, uncertain moment, I get to feel joy. And that changes everything. So you've been listening to Socially Scientific-ish. If this made you smile, tear up, or even want to light a candle for no reason, send it to someone who needs that energy today. You're not behind, you are alive, and you are present. And that's the plot twist. Now go, romanticize your leftovers, romanticize your chaos, and romanticize you. We're all just background characters in each other's lives. But in yours, your own, you are the full cinematic experience. So see you next episode. Same spiral, same time, and the same chaotic vibe.